Hello, this is Lama again. This is our first video for the writing section. As we mentioned previously, in this part of the test, you will have two tasks. The first one is the integrated task, and the timing for this task is 20 minutes. And then you will have the second task, which is the independent task, which is an opinion essay, and here you have to express your opinion and ideas within 30 minutes. Our main topic for this video is the integrated essay. For this task, you will read a short passage about a specific topic, which could be about biology, geography, business, etc. And then you will listen to a lecture that discusses the same topic of this passage. Your job here is to summarize what you have read and heard and show the relation between the passage and the lecture. You need to know that you only listen to the lecture once, so you need to take notes while you are listening. But the good news is that the passage which you have read will reappear again, so it will be on the side of the screen while you are structuring your essay. Pay attention that the lecture is always an opponent to the passage. So if the passage provides a theory why something happened or why something could work or why something is possible, the lecture always opposes this point of view by giving a counteractive view. And I'm stressing that we need to show this opposition in our essays. When you write your essay, you need to make sure that you speak about the lecture more than the passage. Word count is important, and you have to exceed the essay required word count. So, aim at 280 and more. Don't use the same phrases from the lecture or from the passage. You have to paraphrase. In the passage, they'll provide for you 3 points or 3 solutions or 3 somethings. And then the lecturer, as we said, will provide the 3 counteractive ideas, one for each one. You need to make sure that you discuss them in the same order. I know that a question might arise in your mind, should we use a template? The answer is yes, as in the speaking section. Templates help you to structure your answer in a clear way, but as usual, it should be a simple template. My template will be available in a PDF in the description box below. Now, let's move to my template. So the template for my intro will be as the following. The passage and the lecture are both talking about, while the reading claims that the lecturer opposes this and says, when we use actually the word while and opposes, here we emphasize on the contradiction between the lecturer and between the author of the passage. So it's extremely important to use such words in your template or in your essay. Now the template for the body paragraph will be as the following. The template for the first point will be, firstly, the author posits that. Here you mention the main idea of the first point, the first point made in the passage, you mention it here. And then we say, he mentions. Here you just add a little bit more details from this point from the passage. And then we are done talking about the first point from the passage, and we move to talk about it in the lecture. This point is challenged by the lecturer. He states, here we mention the first detail about this point from the lecture. And then we say, and then he adds on. And then after adds, here we mention the rest of the details from the lecture. As we said, we need to make sure that we mention, that we talk about the lecture more than we talk about the passage. So we try to include as much details as we can from the lecture. The template for the second point will be as the following. The second point made in the passage is, here you mention the second point from the passage. The author explains, here you add a little bit more details about this point from the passage. Then we move to talk about the lecture. However, the professor contradicts with this point of view and claims that, here we mention part of the details from the lecture. And then we say, he notes, and then here we mention the rest of the details. We move now to the third point, and the template for the third point will be as the following. Finally, the writer of the passage suggests, here we mention the third point from the passage. And then we carry on to say, he states in the article. Here we mention a little bit details from the third point from the passage. And then we move to talk about the lecture. We show the contrast by saying that, in contrast, the lecture refutes. Here we say what the lecturer, sorry, refutes. So we mention the first part of the details from the lecture. And then we carry on and we say, he elaborates on this by mentioning. Here we mention the rest of the details about the third point. And when we reach to this point, we are done with the integrated essay. See the usage of the words, like maybe when we use the word however, in contrast, contradicts, challenge. All of those words actually show the relation between the passage and the lecture. They show that they don't agree with each other. So, as we said, it's extremely important to show the relation between the passage and the lecture. As I mentioned for 2 minutes, this template will be available in a PDF in the description box below, and also my contact info will be available there in the description box below. See you in my next video, and goodbye. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.